I'm your host von Brandenburg and welcome to my first instalment of our Verdun tactical guide. And today we're looking at the use of mobility in Verdun in fact. Here we can see first of all that I'm just using a basic rifle class and that I aim to sort of cover how you can improve and how you can adapt your style of play to get better results and level up quicker. As you'll notice here, the obvious difference with most first-person shooters is that 90% of weapons kill in a single shot, so you have to be extremely mindful when you're looking in your environment. So that brings us on to trench coverage. Here you'll notice that I'm aiming to sort of attack in very short bursts, and as soon as I get the kill I move away into cover, as you see. Just dodging that machine gun right there, and then moving along. That way you can help out your team and you can balance either flank, which is especially important when defending, as it is when attacking a trench and trying to prevent the enemy from countering. As you see how I return again to make sure that the left flank is as secure as the right, and this is very good to prevent you from being spotted by either snipers or artillery fire from NCOs, so I go back just to relieve them as I know that there's the machine gunner on the right has been cleared out, and as you see I see one of my friendlies shot. So after this I'm bringing on to the most important form of mobility, and that's when looking at your line of sight. As I came on to say, with the large damage of every single weapon, it's important that you're in a position where the enemy cannot shoot you, but you're aware of them. Similarly, it is important not to run out into cover, but equally not to crawl, as you can run out of a situation far quicker when crouched or standing up. Here you notice that I'm creeping very slowly through no man's land, and that's fundamentally to make sure that the enemy doesn't notice me, but also so that I'm pinning down the area which I'm actually attacking. As you see, covering my reloads, because when you're out in the open and you're reloading, you have no form to counter-attack. Similarly, width is very important when taking into account your line of sight, and I'm making sure that on my left and right we have these two mounds just to prevent the bullets. So the reduction of a line of sight is brilliant. It allows you to suppress as well. And as you see, I use this tank right here to sort of guard at least a quarter of my screen from enemy fire, which is especially important on the offensive. As you see here, just scouring when in cover is perfect. Moreover, I'm going to use line of sight here on more of a inbuilt system where you'll notice here that I'm using the cover of the actual trenches to protect me rather than craters of no man's land, which is extremely useful when moving up with one or two teammates. As you see here, I begin to tandem with this player. Also, it's important to use the sides of the trench. As you see, I use this tiny line of sight just to secure myself, and when they come around that corner, they'll be relatively unaware that all they can see is my head. Furthermore, you notice here that I'm using what I said was a concealed line of sight, where I have I'm being blocked either side, which prevents enemy flanking fire. So I'm allowed to nestle down in this sense, reduce my physical mobility, but as far as it goes with my weapon fire, it's far increased. As you notice that I'm allowing the rest of my team to be mobile, while still being informed where my enemy is, and in this sense the enemy can only attack from one single place, or kill me in fact. Whereas if I was out in the open doing such a tactic, I could be shot from an area which I wasn't protecting. But as I said, the general rule of thumb is not to be in the same place for more than 15 seconds, because once you've taken, say, 3 or 4 shots, the enemy becomes suspicious, mortar strikes or sniper fire can be drawn. as can machine gunners and the like. As you see here, this reduced line fire is perfect because they run into a defensive choke point, and it's perfect for me just to eliminate the enemy. Furthermore, we begin to see footwork, which is most important within a trench, as you want to look when going around corners, when you know that the enemy is using multiple grenades. It's vastly important to be able to run quickly, and as you see, my footwork allows me to strafe that corner and go through the explosion, so my enemy cannot shoot, but I can use my melee. And furthermore, again, when out in the open and caught short, it's very important to strafe from side to side, crouch, or even prone. Just be aware that you lose cover for mobility or vice versa. So you want to see here a further example of this is how to flank. And as you notice, flanking is extremely important, as an unaware enemy is far easier to kill, and it works both in the defensive and the offensive. So you see here, defending a trench, I know that the enemy is filtering in, so I can afford to eliminate and completely draw it out, but flanking is obviously the riskiest mover that you can do mobility-wise in Verdun. And furthermore, this is in a more offensive role. I noticed that they're covering the lower trench, so I'm going to have to jump down once again to sort of attack them from above. And this is where melee becomes a very important element as well. You see, this player was completely unaware of my presence. Thank you for tuning into my first episode of this guide, and I hope you enjoy. And be sure to subscribe in order to see future guides that I create, and ones for weapons as well as tactics.